morning. Good morning. It is Monday, August 26th here on News 6 Plus and ClickOrlando.com. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridget. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Good to have you with us on another start to another work week on this Monday. And we are excited because we're riding off of a high yesterday. Lake Mary All-Stars pulled it off. They are the new World Series champs. And it was an exciting game. We'll take you out there to Williamsport for a full recap on that nail biter and tell you about what's up for them for the rest of the week. We also have a live interview this morning with a licensed therapist about some of the benefits of gaming for young people, video games. So we'll break that down and look at the best practices around that and how it can be beneficial, surprisingly, which I'm interested to hear more about. But there have been some studies that have proven this in recent years, so we'll look at that as well. But first, want to get a check of that weather, and we have Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos in the Pinpoint Weather Center. Candace, I managed to squeeze in a little bit of pool time with the kiddos yesterday, but there was a lot of debris in there from all the rain that had just come through, but we made it back out.
Yeah, we did a little bit of a pool day on Saturday, and that was basically because Mom was getting too stressed out about the game, the Little League game that we were watching. Yeah, I couldn't sit. I was like, all right, you know what? Let's go in the pool. I'll have it in the background. So that way I'm like distracted because I get too worked up.
Right.
Yeah, and then we went to Aquatica for a little bit yesterday, and we got back just in time for the game. So and just we had to kind of plan our weekend around some baseball.
How was the very swift, lazy river? That's my favorite.
That's my favorite. That really is. That was so much fun, and it was funny because when we've gone before, we're the losers without the life jackets, because we're like, oh, we don't need the life jackets, and all of a sudden we realize, wait, this makes this whole fast river thing so much more fun,
relaxing. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, did you get separated? That always freaks me out a little bit.
Constantly. Although Sienna, my youngest, was able she just hit that 42 mark, and that's when you start getting up into those big kids rides. So we had some fun. The trick is get there super early and just run through all of them and get out.
Yep.
So listen, if you're planning on heading out to the theme parks today or playing some baseball, whatever you want to do outdoors today, we are going to have to dodge a little bit of rain, Bridget, but it's not going to be as widespread as we've been dealing with the past week or so, which, by the way, we've racked up a considerable amount of rain, up to about 2 to 4 inches. So that's certainly good news. So right now it's going to be more of the West Coast issue for more of those rockin' late day storms. So let's take it to the maps, show you what we're talking about here. This is what's going on right now. We are still going to stay unsettled, but last week the winds were coming in from the different direction, coming in from the west. So today they're actually coming in from the east, and that's going to push some of that rain out over the Atlantic onshore. We're already picking up some of that rain across areas of Brevard County, and then it's going to continue to push most of the other afternoon showers and thunderstorms much further towards the west, those west coast areas there. But you can see temperatures out the door right now are in the mid to upper 70s. We will continue to see those scattered showers kind of developing right along that breeze between about now 9 to 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, and then everything kind of starts pushing inland. There comes that east coast sea breeze developing that line of scattered showers and thunderstorms. There will be that potential of seeing a couple of lightning strikes, some gusty winds at times. But by 3 o'clock, we stop that clock now at 3 for dismissal time. You can see the bulk of the moisture and the bulk of the activity on the radar will be hovering around 75 and out towards the west. So if you have to pick up kids in Sumter, Lake County, Western Marion, you might have to deal with a little bit of rain, but the majority of Central Florida should stay mostly dry after about 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. So our main weather hazards again today will be the lightning. It will be the wind, although we're really not looking at a big threat for any big time rock and thunderstorms for today. So as we take you here hour by hour, temperatures will be back into those mid 90s between about 1 and 5 p.m. Temperatures already this morning, we are all in the upper 70s to low 80s. But again, we're going to continue to see those highs for today. 94, that's our forecast high for today. We'll be feeling like the triple digits though for several hours today, but nowhere near heat advisory criteria. So a very traditional summer week is in store for your last week of August. We've got a big time launch later on tomorrow, dark and early at 3:38 in the morning. We will be showing that to you live here on News 6. As of now, about an 80% go. This is going to be a big time trip that we are going to be watching closely. Corridor recovery, normally when it's an uncrewed launch, we don't really care about corridor recovery because there's nobody on board. But when we have to talk about possible abort missions, when it is a crewed launch, we have to put that into effect. And basically the corridor recovery includes heights of the waves out across the Atlantic. So if the waves are too dangerous for rescue crews to go out there, they won't launch the rocket, even though the weather might be perfect on land here along the Space Coast. But that doesn't seem to be an issue. Temperatures by 3:38 are still going to be warm. We're still talking about the low 80s by that point. The breeze about 10 to 15. The only concern for tomorrow morning's launch will be those coastal showers that we are dealing with this morning. We'll possibly deal with them again tomorrow morning as well. And then as we get results here, the full 7-day forecast looking good. 50% chance of rain almost every afternoon. Temperatures will be near to slightly above average in the low to mid 90s. And we got that confetti flying on Saturday. Again, I said in the morning show, I don't know if there's going to be actual confetti flying. I don't know what the full details are for the parade in Lake Mary on Saturday. We will be there. But I feel like when you have parades, you have to have confetti on the icons. So that's what we've got. We've got a big time parade that starts at 10 on Saturday. So we've got a lot of celebrating to do until then.
I'm so happy for them. What a great bunch. Really
They're
awesome.
and that's something that Justin on air and off air has been talking about, and how good these boys are, not only on the field, but off the field. And you saw that yesterday. Pure example is they celebrated. Their instinct was to celebrate, and all of a sudden they all just stopped for a second and they went and comforted the other team. And it was just great to see such sportsman-like conduct, and just really great guys. You can tell it starts from the coach as well. He's an amazing person. You hear him during the game and his inspirational pep talks and things like that. I was pumped up. I was ready to go on that field and play for them, although I probably wouldn't have helped at all.
Yes, memories of a lifetime, and definitely lessons and character building that they will take throughout life, and they're champions on top of that. So it's all a win-win. But we'll take a closer look at all that in a minute. Have a package from Justin coming up. But
well, I hope they're practicing their autographs, because there's a lot of that happening.
Oh yeah, and they're going back to school. Now it's time for them to go back to school. So.
Well, it's 2 weeks in, so we got to get going. We got a lot of work to do.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks, Candace.
Bye.
We want to swing it over to Crystal. She is at the traffic center holding it down for Trooper Steve this morning. Hi, Crystal.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you? I know we had a little bit of drama. Had a little drama this morning. So coming back in
on the roadways?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, we never have drama. We good.
You're like, wait a minute.
Not so good.
You're like, you mean
tell me about
we're
this
talk
drama.
about this later? Drama? No.
No. After breakfast with Bridgett. Yes, we do have some traffic alerts to talk about. We've been following this all morning long. This is out of Volusia County. If you're traveling near Ormond Beach, you're going to get stuck in this. And this is a crash involving two semis. One actually overturned there. So you can see on the left-hand side of your screen a lot of action going on. We're down to one lane along I-95 southbound, just south of US 1. Again, this is in the Ormond Beach area. So you need to allow plenty of extra time. Earlier this morning, when the crash had just happened, they had to block all the lanes. So as you can imagine, traffic was backed up for miles, and then you open one lane, it's still slow moving. So now that you're seeing folks getting out and about for the morning, traffic is backed up for miles, as you can see here with another DOT camera a little further back from where this crash is. It's stop and go. And that just means you need to allow plenty of extra time or take an alternate route. US 1 can be your alternate route. Old Dixie Highway will also get you around this. Unfortunately, whichever way you go, you're going to be stuck in this mess. So, grab your coffee, grab your donuts, your breakfast that you can eat in the car while you're heading to work or maybe heading to school. We're also taking a look at another crash, and this one is in the Lake County area, just west of Montverde. You can see some flashing lights off to the right-hand shoulder. This one is just off to the shoulder, not blocking any lanes. Traffic moving at speed. This is on the turnpike heading northbound as you're heading near Hancock Road. And then over in Orlando, I know you see a lot of icons there, but no major issues to talk about in Orange County. If you are traveling along I-4, here are your drive times. A 32-minute ride from 417, which is in Sanford, down to State Road 50. We are seeing some traffic there. And then heading eastbound along I-4, 23 minutes between Osceola Parkway and State Road 50. Your normal morning delays that we're seeing right now heading east and westbound. Here's a live look with the DOT cameras. This is I-4 and Anderson. Looks like the pole is blocking half the view there, but traffic is moving at speed with plenty of space to move around once you hit the metro area. So far, so good there. But Bridgett, if you're in, Volusia County, that's where we're seeing a lot of those delays. And I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them to clean up this mess because we have an overturned semi that maybe left some debris all over the roadway. It's going to be clean up and then wait and see.
Okay. And so there's some more updates coming out this morning throughout the CBS mornings for us. So hopefully some better updates. And Crystal, anything you want to tell us about with Insider? I know we're running out of time on some of the contests and anything coming up.
Yeah, actually, we have our Disney on Ice contest that's going on right now. We're giving away 5 family 4-packs. You have a lot of chances to win there. If you head to clickorlando.com/insider, you can enter as many times as you want for more chances to win, which is nice. I know a lot of families love seeing Disney on Ice. And I do want to tease a couple of contests we have coming up, including the Orlando Science Center. They have that new life exhibit, which is basically like an open zoo, which is really cool because it's indoors. So you can go anytime you want, no matter the weather. That's coming up. And we also have Halloween Horror Nights. People love that. And this year they're starting early, super early. I'm talking like September. So head to clickorlando.com/insider. Go ahead. All you have to do is become an insider. It is free. You just have a login, which is your email and a password, and then you'll get notified once we start those contests. So you'll be the first to know so that you have more chances to win.
And then you call people to let them know they won, or how does that work? Because people come and pick up tickets here.
Sometimes we call people. Yeah, it just depends on the contest. I know on the form, we'll typically ask for either your email or your phone number. So either way, whichever one we ask for is typically what we would use to contact you. But typically it's an email, and then you'll have probably 72 hours, depending on the contest, to answer that email. Sometimes I'll go ahead and call, depending on if I've heard from you or depending on what kind of contest it is. So whatever you put into that form when you enter the contest is what we're going to use to contact you. I know some people are confused when you become an insider, the information you put there, if you want to change it for a specific contest. We're using only what you apply for when you enter that specific contest.
And then they usually have to come here to the station and pick up like hard copy tickets. Is that right? Or not all the time?
No, we can email them or we mail them. I know we just gave away a lot of tickets for gift cards for Kroger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Coke Zero. So we can email them if they're digital tickets or if they're gift cards, we can mail them. I know some of you may be living, in Brevard County or Lake County, or we're not going to make you drive all the way over here to pick up your prize.
Good to know. So there you have it. And you have a good chance of winning some of these. So you really want to make sure you at least put your name in the hat at least once.
Hey, it's free, right? Give something for you and your family to do and explore Central Florida.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thanks so much, Crystal, for the update. I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye. Okay, we wanted to head out to Pennsylvania. We talked about how the All-Stars pulled it off yesterday, 2-1. Really a nail-biting game with extra innings, and they took it all, and we couldn't be happier or more excited. And Justin Wormuth has been the only local news anchor out there the whole time for this series, and so he has more on that big victory yesterday for the All-Stars.
Lake Mary Little League has had a motto throughout this entire run. You've heard it, right? Our summer. It's our summer. That became more than a motto, though. It became part of this team's identity. It became part of their DNA. They believed in each other, they believed in themselves, and they believed they would be world champions.
I say, let's go. And then when I see him slide, I look behind me, he slides. I'm like, yeah, and then everyone starts coming out, and I give them all. It's just great.
I couldn't be prouder of Liam or the rest of the kids. It's just absolutely amazing to watch these guys.
You guys manifested this.
We did. From the beginning, we just said, last year we were so afraid of jinxing anything, and then this year we just said, we're manifesting it, we're making it happen. They worked insanely hard, and we did it. They never I just kind of love the fact that it came down to the bottom of the sixth, 2 outs, our last moment, but we said, not done yet. The job is not done.
Mom, what can you say about your boy?
I love Taraj!
race. 3, 2, 1, go! To the famous Lomity Hill. How's it feel to be the best Little League team?
Feels good. This is every person's dream. Every single Little League baseball player.
Feels great. I mean, from the start, I knew we had something.
A fitting end to an unbelievable summer, our summer.
We came here to do something. We came here to do a job. And today, we accomplished that job. We said the whole time it wasn't done. We took a loss to Texas. We battled all the way back. And here we are to talk about how we won this whole thing.
What a celebration here in Williamsport after history was made. But if the boys think they're famous here, just wait till they get back home. They will be back home today. We look forward to seeing them. For now, reporting in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Justin Mormouth getting results, News 6.
What a happy ending, and we can't wait to welcome them home. There's actually a parade, like Candace mentioned on the forecast, coming up on Saturday, so you know we'll have more coverage of that parade. That's at 10 a.m. on Saturday. We will be there. We'll have it for you here on News 6. So make sure you join us and help cheer them on, or maybe go out to the parade in person and enjoy that and cheer on those boys. But just a great job and really an inspiration for everyone. Well, the Polaris Dawn, it's almost time. We're less than 24 hours away from that flight, and it's the next crewed flight from our Space Coast. So set for about 3:38 a.m. And so Polaris Dawn, of course, including the billionaire entrepreneur Jared Isaacman and his crew members, they have paid for this private mission and spacewalk. They are attempting to, be the first private astronauts to walk in space. So right now, again, that launch window is set for just after 3:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. And of course, we'll have it for you here on News 6. We'll be in early for that with team coverage on News 6 Plus as well, and clickorlando.com. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with a licensed counselor to talk about the benefits of video games. Welcome back. We love talking about mental health awareness, and something really interesting this morning when it comes to a recent study involving video games. So apparently this study was conducted just over the time during the pandemic, and there was a study actually out of Japan that studied people between ages 10 to 69 playing video games, and they've had some findings that it could be good for mental health. So we wanted to break this down a little bit more, and we have licensed counselor Shantala Boss with us once again this morning. Good morning, Shantala.
Good morning, Bridget.
So there have been some recent studies, like we mentioned this one. There were some others. What is it that we're finding now about video games? Because they usually get a bad rap because they are addictive, and sometimes, they keep us off track with other things we need to be getting done, such as taking care of other work that needs to be done, or maybe eating and sleeping properly. So there are those cons, but let's talk about the pros. What are these
Well, the pros really came out a lot during the pandemic because people were really looking at them as a social outlet. And that is really something that I think has been more on the horizon and up and coming with video games. So during the pandemic, people were locked in their houses. They weren't getting out. They weren't able to connect with other people. And so we really realized what a stress reliever video games can be and how helpful they can be in fostering that connection, teamwork, camaraderie when you are playing with other people and you are involved in a game and you are working on building levels. So really during this time is when the study took place, but even before that, these things were happening. So video games aren't all bad, and they can really be a very positive thing. The key is doing it in moderation because they can be highly addictive. So when you say things like, the sleep schedules, the eating, that is one of the things that happens is kids and even adults will forget their daily functioning activities that they need to do because they will get so wrapped up in these games. So that's why a lot of times they get the bad rap. But when they are healthy games and appropriate games and good games, they can really be very effective in building creativity, stress relief, connecting with others, so that there are a lot of positives.
And so when we think about these games, I know one of these studies, they studied people using Nintendo, PlayStation, but it's not necessarily that you have to have a game console.
Right. It doesn't have to be. There are so many different types of games out there, and I honestly am not very well versed in gaming because I grew up well, in the 80s. We didn't have all of these fancy types of games, but it's really amazing all the things that are out there and the ways that we can connect. And there are games that help with movement, that even Peloton, that bike that people are on, and that really grew during the pandemic, has a whole video gaming system to keep people motivated to do group exercise and group activity. It's really amazing. You don't even have to leave your house, and you can connect with other people and have same goals. And I think that this is going to grow into other things down the road. You know, we can connect with people all over the world. It really is an amazing and positive thing. Where we really have to be careful, though, obviously, like we talked about, is watching that, being in moderation, watching our sleep and eating schedules, and making sure that we're getting outside and connecting with the real world, because we can get very engrossed in video games to the point where we feel like we're living in them sometimes. They're so lifelike.
And so that's been one of the concerns, is sometimes with these games, lots of violence, gun violence, aggression, social isolation, like you mentioned. So I would imagine you need to be very careful about the games you're selecting with your family.
Absolutely. Making sure to pay attention to ratings and reviews and talking to other parents about, you know, what is in the game, what they're seeing, because sometimes these things will sneak up on us, especially with the violence. There's different types of games. You know, some are a little bit more abstract. Maybe there's some fighting and some good and bad guys, but then there are other ones that are extremely graphic, horrible language, things that, you know, get into the subconscious of a young mind. We may think, well, they know better, they're not going to, you know, do any of that in the real world, but it is in their subconscious, and it can become a real issue with the way that they're thinking and behaving. So we want to be careful what we watch, what they're doing, and also just age appropriate games, and play the games with your kids, get involved in those things. It's not easy to do. I mean, I don't have very good like hand-eye coordination, so I try to get on these games. I have a younger brother, he's 17. And I mean, it's just all bets are off. I can't play more than 5 minutes and I'm already knocked out. But
and like some of these games help you get better at those types of things, whether it's like the visuospatial, I think they call it, navigation. So things that kind of get you moving and more coordinated, even games that help you with problem solving. And like you said, the social aspect as well, like being able to connect with friends and play together.
Well, even like crossword puzzles, you know, they say you need to use crossword puzzles to use your mind to prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, all these things. Well, same thing with games, like you were saying, the spatial, you really have to be focused. You have to be thinking, you have to so there's a lot of positive with it. It's just, you know, getting past the addictive part of it, because it did become an addictive.
Right. So what are those 3 takeaways when it comes to like making sure you don't go the wrong way with this?
Well, setting time limits with video games. They say if you do more than 3 hours a day, it can become very detrimental. I would say more than an hour and a half a day, but in my opinion, and making sure to have appropriate eating and sleeping schedules surrounding it. So even if you have a whole day that you're able to play a video game, making sure that you set appropriate time limits still to get outside, get exercise, make sure you're eating and sleeping and interacting with the real world. Those things are very important. And also just watching, that you use appropriate games that are age appropriate and healthy for you and for your mind and body. Also, we don't want to watch video games right before we go to bed.
That's true too.
That's not helpful with sleep. So
that's good advice as well. Anything else we want to leave people with before we go?
I think that's all. Yeah. It's good news. Some good things out there that we can play and learn from. Yeah.
Something to think about as always, Shantala. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye. Before we go, one last mention. Coming up on this last day to enter for the Disney on Ice tickets. I think we mentioned that just earlier. So go to clickorlando.com/insider. If you're not an insider, it is free. Sign up and then sign up to win. You can enter as many times as you want before that contest closes very soon. So good luck on that. We're giving away 5 packs of tickets. So hope you can score those if you really want them. We also want to hear from you about Melbourne, because that's where we're hitting the road next and going live with our afternoon newscast. And we want to know about the stories that you'd like us to tell in Melbourne. Are there people who deserve a shout out? Are there issues that need to be exposed, or do we need to help you get results on something in Melbourne? We want to know. Tell us about the gems, the hidden gems in Melbourne as well, and some of the fun history. Go to clickorlando.com/hitstheroad and tell us all about it, and we'll see you in Melbourne very shortly. That's going to do it for us here on Breakfast with Bridgett, and On Patrol with Trooper Steve is coming up, and I'll see you for News 6 at noon. Have a great day.